Just gonna wait for some people to hop on. If you guys have questions, just drop them in the chat. Um, but so far, pretty good morning so far. We in the chat earlier, we were talking about SPY possibly retesting 679 and retesting high of day. That was about 15 minutes ago, and it looks like it is moving towards high of day. With so much positive news, especially on such a, if we look at the bigger picture, this is a really bullish market. So with such positive news and such a bullish market, we have to at least try at some point, and it looks like we are trying to get that push. Now, in terms of the news itself, Micron, big highlight this morning. We can see that this stock is moving higher, significantly higher. It's 12% higher today. The company reported strong earnings. Let's actually pull them up. I'm gonna go to X. We're gonna go to earnings. Got it. All right, testing. Can you hear me now? Is this better? Can you hear me now? All right, just testing the audio here. I'm not sure if you guys could hear me. Okay, so it looks like you guys can't hear me. Okay, let's just start right over, okay? So big highlights today. Obviously, Micron reported. Let's see if we have anything on it here. Yes, Micron reported the company beat earnings by 21% in terms of earnings per share, and then revenue beat by 6%. Now, I believe that is a slowdown. Let's see. Let's see how Micron did compared to the previous quarter here. So, okay, so I don't believe that this is updated yet, but revenue has been growing at pretty significant double-digit rates, and that's because Micron is in the memory space. They supply memory, services and parts to the big names like Nvidia and AMD. So, with that being said, with so much demand, Micron's earnings came out to be much better than expected, and they fueled the markets higher this morning. But the stock is starting to give up a little bit. It was up significantly more this morning, but it has been pulling back. But you can see it influence other parts of the market like Nvidia, AMD, they're not really high off their lows, but they're still off their lows, at least giving them a little bit of a boost from yesterday. Inflation data, I mean, what can we say? Inflation was way better than expected, but for some reason it's hard to believe. You have core inflation is at 2.6% versus the 3% expected. And then the headline inflation is 2.7 versus 3.1%. This is a pretty close reading to 2%, you guys. This is like a very good news for the market. So the fact that we're not bouncing higher this morning, it just kind of makes me worry if buyers don't come in soon on such positive news that we might be giving up the idea of a Christmas rally. But we'll see. There's still time. Let's just hope that it doesn't get there, and we're still able to get some momentum going and rally into the end of the year. What's going on? What else is going on this morning? So we have Lululemon shares moving higher. Lululemon has been moving higher since earnings, and then somebody took a $1 billion position in them, a pretty reputable fund. So you can see that the stock is continuing its uptrend, but hard to trust still. This is a company that has been getting a lot of competition in the space. They have been growing revenue, but nowhere near where they were growing revenue a few years ago. You could see that during their peak, they grew revenue at 42%, 29%. It's just kind of been trickling down. Now, it may turn into a mature company, but you have to ask yourself, do I want to hold a mature company that is starting to slow in revenue and it's in the athletic leisure space? I mean, that's a lot of competition. You can see that even Nike has been struggling. So for Lulu to maintain competition against brands like Alo, Viore, these are non-public brands, but they're still taking a lot of market share. It's going to be a little difficult. At $27 billion and a 14 price to earnings ratio, I would say this is reasonable, but I think the path forward for a company like Lululemon is going to be similar to what we see in a company like perhaps American Eagle, where, if you look at its overall history, let's just zoom out all the way, you can see that the stock is pretty cyclical. You see how it doesn't really hold a bullish rally for long, goes up. As its price to earnings ratio increases, it starts to sell back down because investors are just not willing to pay more than a certain amount for it after a certain premium. That is, it's not like a growth stock, like a tech stock. It's constantly growing. It's just predictable at this point. Lululemon is past their growth stage unless something remarkable happens and they turn that ship around. What else is moving this morning? Let's see. We have Medline. So Medline not moving a lot this morning, but it is certainly holding its highs. We took a position in this yesterday. I really want to get up around 43, 45 to take some profits, and then I'll consider adding more if the stock gives us a drop. I do like this for a potential long term, but as I was discussing the stock with other people yesterday, they were telling me that there are some complaints about the company's product. So I'm just curious to see how markets are going to feel about it before I take a sizable position in this company. I've had a lot of good reviews. I've had a lot of bad reviews. It just depends on who you're talking to in the medical space that has something to say about Medline. Plus, another thing is the company was previously bought up by private equity, and private equity is it's a pretty dog world. They're willing to kind of do anything and everything to milk every dollar they can out of a stock. So I want to see how the market reacts to a private equity firm going public. So still looking at this for a trade, not a long-term investment. I would be interested in taking some profits in the coming weeks, hopefully around that 45 mark as we set as our price target. Micron, we already talked about this. It's moving higher this morning. Of course, memory space is hot right now. The stock, I believe, is near a record. I don't think it's been around this level before. Yeah, it looks like it's near a record. Boy, that is extremely high, and you can clearly see a negative divergence. I'm not huge on technicals. I do use technicals for my trades, but sometimes you should have to call it out. This is a huge negative divergence or bearish divergence. So if that stock breaks about 265 and that RSI doesn't start peaking above 70, then we might be due for a reversal on this. I wouldn't be quick to jump into this one on this earnings gap up. I do like it. It's great for the semiconductor and artificial intelligence space altogether, but I wouldn't be quick to jump into on this push, at least not from Micron. This may inspire other memory stocks though. Just keep that in mind as we formulate watch lists. We look to see where is the money flowing, who's making the most revenue. And so if we see Micron, a memory company, printing money pretty much from these sales, we start looking at other potential winners in the space, even their suppliers or companies they work with. And that's how you formulate a full watch list and figure out who to invest in and what to invest in. Next up, DJT. It's 30% higher this morning. Let's see why. I'm not much of a trader on this stock. It's not really my favorite type of stock. It looks like they're merging with a company called TAE Tech. Agreed to merge with an Alphabet-backed fusion energy firm in a deal worth more than $6 billion. A series of giant power plants to serve the AI boom. Wow. So now Trump has gone into crypto, now getting into AI boom power plants, so fusion. So it's going to give them access to significant capital and TAE's leading fusion technology to supply power for AI technology. Now, this is gonna be an interesting turnout. I mean, of course, the deal is gonna get approved. You already know that that's gonna get approved. But what I will say is, if you caught Trump's speech last night, he did say that power and energy is a big focus of his, and he was boasting about how much energy we're bringing back to the states and all these infrastructure that's being built. So it's on brand. It's probably a money grab, but it's on brand. And it's a nuclear business, which is something that's to look at. But considering this fusion, nuclear power, now we can look at names like Oklo, which you could see bounced on the news, but sold off because this is potentially a threat. SMR bounced on the news, sold off. CEG, a more reputable name, looks to be pushing. And I will say, compared to the rest of the market, CEG is holding pretty well. This might be a winner to watch for next week's watch list. If we do get a market bounce, a name that has held up this well might be worth holding on to or potentially buying. So remember, during market sell-off, you want to see which names, avoided that sell-off. Where did buyers refuse to give up their shares? And we've had a pretty significant sell-off. And so CEG, one of those names. And, as we just said, considering the fact that Trump and his media company are merging with this TAE Tech, which is a fusion energy company, this might indicate that we're going to get some movement in nuclear-related names. Other names include NEE, and we've listed a lot of them through our weekly watch lists. So there's Lululemon, Medline, Micron, DJT. So far, pretty good market this morning. Let's go back to SPY before we cover the rest of the things on our list. SPY, Lululemon, of course, moving higher. So SPY tested high of day. You could see that this was pre-market highs right around 679. Tested them on the first hour, sold off, but still range trading within that same price level. So going to be interesting how this turns out. A break above high of day will likely send us towards 681.50, which SPY needs to close above in order to regain overnight uptrend into tomorrow and potentially set us up for the overnight, for the Santa rally. Other pre-market movers, anything worth interesting? Western Digital, GEV. GEV recently, I believe, got a really big price upgrade, and they really went off on that news. But just given market conditions, they sold back off. Still holding up pretty well. So again, CEG and GEV within that nuclear space. This could have potential. Gonna set my resistance breakout around 665. Robinhood moving higher this morning, probably because the market overall is generally trending higher, and it's good for traders and good for investment brokerage. but you could see it's given up most of that gain, as has SPY. We're off the lows, but still facing a pretty significant resistance. Some big losers this morning. INSP, that is a pretty significant drop. 20%, not even on earnings. What happened to this thing? Let's see. INSP. Oh, it looks like there might have been a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit. Wow. Okay, so that'll take you down, but it's so interesting to see how this stock had just gotten a big push in November. I wonder why it got that push, because that's just shady if you think about it. I mean, that big push, all these people who want to short the stock begin shorting the stock, and next thing you know, it drops 20%. You know how much money was made today? I mean, let's just take a look. If we look at some options for INSP are up. You have options on the put side up 500% for January, 1900%, 1000%. So whoever took these options 10 times their money, and I'm sure somebody knew. There's no way that we got this big push and sold off without somebody on the inside knowing. Okay, so back to SPY. Looks like we're pushing off the lows. Again, we're looking for a breakout above high of day. I'm gonna set a marker right here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Um, I'll be happy to answer or go over anything for you. Wow, nice. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. It looks like that good news is carrying us. Let's see how Tesla is doing. So we're actually holding TSLL. We took a call on this. So far, so good. Yeah, SPY's looking to test that high of day, as we mentioned in the group earlier. So close, turning green on that first hour. That's a good sign, especially after good news, especially going into a possible Christmas rally. You can see that we've pretty much made up yesterday's downfall, but we're still below that high of day from today. And if we do break it, I think we see a move towards 681 to 682. We're looking for this breakout right here. Yep. Something just broke out. Oh, Amazon. I just got an alert for my Amazon position. Let's see. Let's see what's happening with Amazon. Nice. looks like Amazon is coming off of this wedge down. And remember, Amazon had fantastic earnings, you guys. It's just, it happened to coincide with a time in which markets sold off. And so they had that bad luck. But this whole thing, I mean, they could have been buying Amazon up. This is a fantastic stock to consider into 2026. I mean, you saw how Microsoft broke out. I mean, it consolidated for years prior to the breakout we saw this year. This could be the case with Amazon next year. Um, Next week's watch list. I mean, this watch list is not specifically just for next week, but we're going to create a watch list around some stocks that we're buying over the next few weeks. And Amazon and CEG so far are looking really good. SPY just broke out. We had a marker set at high of day. Looks like we broke above high of day. Looking good. See how Tesla is doing. We're looking at TSLL because we are in TSLL. This is the leveraged Tesla index, so it moves a little bit faster than Tesla. But SPY is looking good. Portfolio is up today. It's looking like some decent recovery. We had a significant drawdown over the last few days. So decent recovery today. We are in quality names. I'm happy with what we're holding. And this is kind of a good reminder of why we buy quality, because during drawdowns, we want to be comfortable with what we're holding. We want to have conviction to hold through the ups and the downs of the markets, and just wait until things come around. Yeah, SPY and Tesla looking like they're moving together right now. You can see that SPY just broke above high of day. Tesla is just below it. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to break out too, but so far it's looking like it. Let's see what other charts are matching. It might be NVIDIA, to be honest. Yeah, NVIDIA. Obviously, NVIDIA having so much weight in the market. If it breaks out, then it's going to, you know, carry us higher. So far, so good. We are holding SPY calls. By the way, we're holding June calls on SPY. No Nvidia calls, but we do have an Nvidia position. I mean, you'd be crazy not to have an Nvidia position in this day and age. So holding Nvidia, holding TSL, L, HUT coming around a little bit. Still needs a little work, but crypto, that's really tied to crypto. Let's see how Ethereum is doing. Yeah, everything seems to be basing out so far. VIX is coming down lower. This is for good to get into options. If you're looking to get into options, as the lower VIX goes, the cheaper those option contracts are going to get. And it also means less volatility in the market. So the fact that VIX is coming lower ahead of a possible Christmas rally, this is looking pretty good. I'm really tempted to take on an Amazon position. It's kind of slept on right now. I think everybody's paying attention to other stocks. Amazon might be one of those ones that make it. I do like the fact that it's back above the 200-day moving average as well here. Um, so Amazon, let's see, SPY heading closer to that 681.50 mark. Remember, this is the spot SPY needs to close above today in order to regain that overnight uptrend. That'll put it into green. Long day ahead, though. I mean, anything could happen, but so far, so good. Reacting well to the good news. Amazon is on top watch for an entry. I really do like what I'm seeing here. Just don't want to rush anything, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, it would be a swing trade anyways. I wouldn't be micromanaging it, but if we remember, Amazon's earnings really blew it out of the water. Boom, look at SPY go. That's just beautiful. It's great for all our positions. I mean, our portfolio is literally as SPY is inching higher, portfolio is inching higher with it. It's just amazing. That's a great push. Look at Amazon going. You see that? We've been watching this. We're not in a rush. We're swing traders. We're not, trying to catch every single candle. We just want to make sure that the trend remains strong. And if it does, then we take on a position and hold. Amazon's one of those companies that you don't have to catch the very bottom or the very top, to maximize. TSLL, we're holding this. We have a call here. So this has been a nice printer for us this morning. Um, yep, beautiful. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and Just took some profits here. Taking profits on TSLL here at 209 plus 23% fully closed. Great trade. So we took this yesterday on TSLL, was a Tesla play. We're closing ahead of price target, but only because we have so much open right now that I want to scale back. I love this uptrend. I love this push, but I just don't want to risk over leveraging, especially into a high risk name like TSLO, on such a short expiration. So this beautiful bounce was a great time to get out. Great 23%. Just took profits on my end. So pretty good stuff. That is an amazing rally from the market right now. Look at this. We're so close. We are so close. Remember, that's the final destination. Close above this, and we're pretty much increasing probability that we're going to rally. For anybody watching, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'll be happy to go over some stocks for you. Things are moving. There's no need to really go crazy right now. Everything is pushing. We are already very well positioned. We have plenty of open setups right now if you're in the main group. So we're not really looking to, throw a bunch of money into nothing right now. I will say Amazon is a top watch for entry. It is looking really strong today, and I'm loving this wedge down breakout that we're getting from it right here. So top watch entry Amazon. Not taking it yet, but we'll give you guys an update throughout the day if I do take it. Circle is a pretty interesting name. I feel like it could give play soon. There's been a lot of positive talks about stable coins. Circle is a pretty special one. Let me see. I think they had some good news not long ago. Yeah, Visa. It would allow U.S. institutions to settle transactions using USDC. USDC is the biggest, I believe, stable coin in the world, and Circle is the one that's behind it. So that's a pretty big stamp of approval for a company like Visa to go through Circle's infrastructure. Visa processes, how much did we say? We just went over Visa. Let's go to our weekly watch list. We just went over Visa. Okay, Visa processes over $16 trillion in total volume per year. That was actually as of last year. So for a company as big of a magnitude as Visa to partner up or use Circle's infrastructure, really good signal. And the fact that during the crypto sell-off, yes, I understand Circle is trading near its all-time low, but during that crypto sell-off, Circle actually held those lows. Pretty good sign. Pretty good sign. So I would say that this is a pretty good contender. So I'm gonna actually put it on the same Circle entry, highly likely. I will be sending these entries for our Hyper Alerts members if I do take them. I'll send them in the Hyper Alerts group. So you can see, starting to slow down a little bit as we approach that 68, 681.50. It's the market was strong because there was no resistance at these points. You can see that that big resistance came at that. We got rejected once, twice, three times at that level, making that 681.50 extremely important to get above. I would say even 682 would be important to get above, just so we can kind of reinforce that breakout. So until we clear this level, we can very much just circle back down, which is why we're putting stocks on our watch list like Amazon and Circle, but it's so early in the day. It's 7:46 a.m. or it's maybe, what time is it in New York? It's 3 hours ahead in New York. So still a lot of day left and we haven't really broken above that key level. So I am loading up my watch list. I'm creating some entry possibilities for today. I'm looking at creating a next week's watch list as well, but not going to rush anything until we get above that 681.50. And if I do take any entries, it'll be closer to end of day. I'll share them with you guys in the Hyper Alerts group for those of you in our premium channel. We have a lot of viewers on today. 5 of you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I just started doing these lives yesterday. I've done them before, but things changed and I took a different approach to my work. But now that I'm doing them again, hopefully they turn out well. Hopefully you guys like them. Hopefully we get some interaction. Hopefully we help people. Again, as you guys know, we're not like a crazy trading group. We're not throwing millions at the market every day. We're just swing traders trying to make some good income from the market throughout the year. And so we take it easy. We're just focused on maintenance and a cool, calm, collected approach. Trump said he's doing this nuclear thing, which is interesting to me, or this, the DJT, which is part of the reason it's going up today, is because of their merger with a fusion company. It's going to be interesting to see how it affects nuclear stocks because a company like MIR, for example, Mirion Technologies, they are a company which focuses on, let's see, MIR entry. This is a company specializing in radiation detection, monitoring, safety solutions, and it's serving nuclear utilities, cancer treatment centers, defense agencies, research labs. So if nuclear and energy is a huge topic in 2026, this is a good company to potentially watch because think of the AI boom, how there's AI and then there's the middleman, which is Nvidia. That's like without this, it's pretty much supplying the shovels and the tools and the picks. There's the end goal, which is energy, and then nuclear is what's fueling it. And Mirion Technology fits somewhere in the middle. Radiation detection, cancer treatment centers. So they also have multiple streams of revenue. So as energy becomes a big topic, Mirion Technology next year might be a good topic. So right now it's sitting at its 200-day moving average. You could see that both times it's tested this line before. Actually, 3 times in the past year, it's tested that level and bounced. Is the 4th time the charm? It could be, but we're not trusting it yet. It's on our watch list for sure. It's below our entry now, but notice we said start small. Earnings did go well since we put up that analysis, but the stock may still need a little bit of time to develop. I would really consider entry on this if it gets back above that 24.45 mark. Again, I'm not huge on technicals. I usually would buy a stock because of its fundamentals, but just to be a little bit safer, I would like to see it recover a little ground. So that way I can get into something like this. Good company though to consider, especially if nuclear remains a big topic next year. For anybody hopping on now, thanks guys for joining. You guys can drop questions if you want in the chat. I'll be more than happy to help. In the YouTube chat, that is. If you're in our premium chat, then just drop questions in the premium chat. I can help you guys out. Again, as we're heading into second hour or the end of the second hour of the day, we're starting to slow down a little bit. Markets headed towards 681.50. Not enough volume to keep it going though. So let's see if we get a second wind. One of the strongest names today, that Amazon. Wow, Amazon is just crushing it. That is a beautiful, look at that. That is a crazy weekly candle to think about. So throughout this week, Amazon visited 220 and now has bounced all the way back. There's a possibility that Amazon moves above 232 by end of week. There's a pretty good possibility. I'm debating whether to take a call versus shares. Big debate because possibilities are high that Amazon moves above 232, so we can take possibly a January call and capitalize on that short term move, or we take shares and we are a little more comfortable in our skin considering overall market volatility. What do you guys think in the chat? If you guys are watching Amazon, I'm curious to know what you think. One of the strongest names today. Notice that even though SPY got rejected just below that 681.50, Amazon did not care. This thing just kept going. That's a lot of relative strength. I like it. Maybe I'll get into an Amazon pullback if he gives us a move below 227 or so. Yeah, Dave, I actually realized yesterday that I have been squinting at my computer for probably without anybody telling me for months now because I never needed them before. And I guess I need glasses all the time now. This is crazy, man. Has anybody gotten LASIK? Anybody watching right now? Any feedback? Don't you just love it? Look how fast the market can bounce back. I mean, portfolio making a massive comeback today. Almost all of the big stocks are in the green. Small and big caps. Tech is leading the way. Tesla is up. It's just a great day. Great way to enter into the holiday. I do believe that this could be the start of something if we close strong. Let's just see how the rest of the day goes. Service now is really hurting today. I wonder what happened. Let's see. Service now. Oh, I see. A split of some sort. The stock split. That's the only reason they look so red. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know about having surgery on my eyes. It's kind of scary. Who's holding Boeing? Look at Boeing today. You guys can see this? Let's see. This is service now, but Boeing has been just coming up since that 180 reversal. We're holding Boeing. This is one of our favorite stocks. Really looking for that 225 plus move. You know, I'm in calls and I'm in shares when it comes to Boeing. Looks like buyers might want more. You see that bull flag building on SPY. Is it too obvious? Orders are coming in. Amazon, new high of day. All of it is pushing up. Boom. Look at that beautiful push. Yeah, our Boeing price target is really high up. Um, it's a long ways away, but I believe. Do you believe? I think Boeing's a big winner under the Trump admin. Amazon just riding the 50-day moving average on the 1 minute chart since the open. You see that yellow line? Never broke it once. Just continuously riding it up. What a move. Velo is looking pretty strong today. Let's see. Velo. Now, this is a company that is working with SpaceX. It's a 3D printing company. They're working with SpaceX and they work with Anduril. So we can possibly see a breakout. This is a good penny stock. Maybe support around 8.60 on this. Resistance area is at 1585. 17.50 resistance. This is another one to add to the list, to be quite honest. Amazon shares, circle entry, Velo entry, likely. I wonder if I could do There we go. Is that better? Thanks for the feedback. Gonna make sure I spelled this right. Nope, I spelled it wrong. There you go. Anduril. You know, their CEO is just this wacky, out of this world guy. Palmer Luckey. Super out of this world character. Spies peaking above high of day. The next stop would be around 681.50. That's that resistance from yesterday. You see that in pre-market? It tried so hard to get above 681.50, but it never broke out. So if it can break out today, that would be super significant. All right. So let's see what's happening with SPY. Okay, a little bit of a pullback. Looks like we're starting to struggle right around 681, just below that 681.50 mark. There's still a lot of day left. So we have 5 hours left today. So let's see if we can get above 681.50 for good, close above it, and take on some more bullish plays. We also have a report tomorrow. We have, I don't know if you guys see this, but we have economic calendar. We have the consumer sentiment report. Um, let's see, consumer sentiment. So this is the final reading for the consumer sentiment. So the previous reading did show that there was an uptick since November. Gas prices are coming down. Some grocery prices are coming down. We might see an uptick in consumer sentiment, but we'll see. Um, I mean, that previous reading was definitely a turnaround from November, but we're still pretty low. You know, if we look at history, consumer sentiment is way before what it was before the pandemic. So um, let's see. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is going to help you. This will explain it a little bit better for you. 13% rise in expected personal finances, especially among younger consumers, improved expectations. It's the first improvement in the headline index in 5 months. So this is pretty remarkable. You know, this is a pretty big jump. So, I mean, it's not like I said where we were 10 years ago or over the last 10 years before 2020, but it's a good sign. So that's another positive report that we can expect tomorrow. So we already know that the reading was good. This is just the final reading. So it just helps reinforce the rally if SPY is able to get above 681.50. Not bad. So there's a pretty big opportunity for Lululemon. They're set to expand into Greece, Austria, Poland, Hungary, Romania. So that's going to be the big story for investors next year is will Lululemon successfully launch? How receptive will these markets be to Lululemon? Because, just because it succeeded in the US does not mean it will succeed in other markets. And what are the costs behind this rollout? I mean, that's a lot of infrastructure to figure out if, depending on where they're manufacturing, but then also shipping, tariffs now that they have to navigate. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. I don't think Lululemon's push is going to necessarily hold until we see a few quarters of this rollout. Maybe how the Elliott Investment Management Group um, manages this new billion stake. They are an activist investor, which means that they're going to try to make some changes. So let's see how this goes. I don't trust Lululemon yet. I'm not rushing to put my money into it myself. Yeah, competition is serious. I mean, competition in the U.S. is serious, which is why the international expansion can give Lululemon a chance potentially. But how many times are you going to be able to succeed in all these markets before like investors are going to question your long term survival rate? Nike, of course, expanded into international markets over the decades, and of course that helped them expand revenue. But look at them now; they're flatlined. After so many years, the company is unable to grow anymore. In what avenue are they going to be able to reinvent themselves? And if you miss one fad when it comes to fashion, when it comes to fitness fashion, is specific for Lululemon, then you might be left in the dust. I mean, look at the running club. Nike missed their opportunity. And, we have some people that I talked to that can attest to this. Nike missed their opportunity early on, and On Holdings and companies like Hoka, they took off. I mean, just look at the performance difference. If you look at Hoka and Nike. I mean, Deck is the owner of Hoka. Over the last 3 years, you can see that during that run up, Nike was coming down significantly, and that entire time, Deck and companies like On Holdings were taking advantage of that running club and market competition. For Lululemon, now you have Fiore, you have Aloe, you have Fabletics, so much competition. And then the consumer is getting smarter too. They're realizing that they don't have to pay a premium for good quality. They can get something that's a cheaper alternative, especially in today's environment. Lululemon has been growing revenue. It's still pretty good at growth, but tapering out is going to be a question. Like, is that revenue going to taper out? And then, of course, as we mentioned, how successful will they be in launching into these new markets over the coming years? It's a lot of expense. Speaking of On, this is a pretty solid looking chart. I don't know if you guys are familiar with On, but they make these fancy shoes. On Holding shoes. I have some of these. They did rip after a year or so, which was really disappointing. But I mean, they make some pretty good looking shoes, not gonna lie, and they're super comfortable. Um, so not all their shoes are hits, but some of them are hits. But compare these, I mean, and then you have Hoka, which really is more about the comfort factor. But you know, this company On is crushing it right now. This is why I'm bringing it up. So if we look at their numbers, first of all, look how much the market is willing to pay for them. This is trading at a 60 multiple. That's like a tech stock. That's I don't think. I mean, what is Nike trading at? 34. So I mean, of course, this is a mature company, which means it will trade at a lower price to earnings ratio. But On is trading at a price to earnings ratio of 60. So that means the market is willing to pay a lot for this company right now. And the reason why is because of so much growth. I mean, this is a company growing revenue at 35%, 45%, 39%, 37%, nonstop revenue growth. Um, Net income has been back and forth, which is actually something that they've struggled with. They have not been able to get it right, but they did get it significantly right last quarter, which is a good sign. Earnings going forward, net income is supposed to dip again compared to last quarter's performance, which was just a standout quarter. But over the next few quarters, you can see that net income is expected to grow significantly, which is probably why markets are willing to pay that higher multiple because they know that the stock's earnings are growing rapidly. Revenue over the coming years, this is hard to trust. I mean, they're expected to double their revenue in the next 3 years, but remember, this is a fashion company. Yes, their shoes are great, but they're not a Nike yet where we could say for sure their projections are going to be on target. So looking good overall, one of the better retail stocks if you are looking to gain some exposure to retail. And you can see they have some pretty good looking shoes, which, you know, if you're a fan of working out or running, On might be one to potentially look at. Easy, pretty understandable business. Chart is looking good. Might put it on next week's watch list. If it breaks above that 50 mark, I will potentially enter. So a little combination of both fundamental and technical analysis on this one. All right, markets are coming down. Looks like there's a big pullback. Just, you see that? It's a very important mark because we're still making lower highs here. You know, we're not making higher highs for us to be more comfortable, which is why we didn't rush any entries. You notice all we did today was take profits on our Tesla call, which ran up a little bit more. Yes, it's I think hit 222, which would have been a nice 30% instead of 23%. But you know, why risk it through such unpredictable markets these days? Still holding plenty of other setups, comfortable with shares. In the chat, I mean, I see some activity. Who's Tumi? I'm curious to know. Are you in our group? Yes, you should be in our group. What's your Telegram username? Unless you want to remain a secret. Yeah, let's say. Actually, I haven't even checked Rivian. How is it doing today? It's up today. We covered this one yesterday. Yeah. See, holding up so nicely. Oh, Rafa. Hey, thanks for hopping on, Rafa. That weekly on Rivian is looking pretty good. Look at that. I mean, that's just like a perfect rounding out. Above 20, this could explode. This could explode. Remember, yesterday we said Rivian has a short float ratio of 18%. So it's already got good news going for it. Rivian is probably going to be a good one to add to a watch list. So it's already got good news going for it. Any more positive news, all these short sellers are going to try to potentially close out of their positions, which is going to cause a short squeeze. So also adding Rivian to next week's possibilities. Got a question in the main group. What do you think about Trump's reclassification of marijuana? So he's supposed to sign today if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Trump, Mary. Yeah, so he's supposed to sign today. Yeah, it's a major shift. Okay, so, okay. Let me just plug my laptop in. Okay. So marijuana stocks or related stocks have been going up. You could see that the cannabis index has been rallying nonstop since last week. Trump hinted at signing an executive orders to reclassify marijuana. So all these stocks, Kronos, Tilray, VFF, all these stocks started rallying, which as they would. MJ, which is the cannabis index, rallied higher too. It's breaking out of into a really. This is the first time it's seen this since 2024, early 2024. So the thing about cannabis stocks is they don't necessarily make a lot of money yet. Revenue is growing, but it's been tough. It's a challenging environment when they're federally still illegal. So this is a good move towards federal legalization. But I think there's still a lot of time to kind of let them develop. All right, let's go SPY. Right back up. So very close to that breakout. Not much of a bounce back in CoreWeave today. I'm going to say it's pretty muted for these AI related names. Even NVIDIA's bounce back has been non eventful. All right, guys. Well, market seems to be slowing down a little bit. I'm going to log off now. If price action picks up a little bit later in the day, I'll get back on. But maybe going forward, we'll do first 2 hours of the day live and then maybe come back on for the final hour of the day. If you're watching right now and you like the sound of that, go ahead and put something in the chat just so I can see if there's any feedback. First 2 hours of the day on live, and then markets slow down a little bit. Cool. Cool. Yep. Thanks for the feedback. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and log off now. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. Still very, very new to this, so trying to make sure that I approach it correctly and provide you guys with good information every morning. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. Take care.